Hi, and thank you so much for joining me for day 24 of 30 Days of Sketches with Christie's Beautiful Life. And today's sketch you can see in the top right hand corner is from Kim Johnson Martin, and it's got this circular element on. So I'm using the new My Mind's Eye Wildflower collection. It's by Simple Stories, designed by My Mind's Eye, and I'm going to cut the circle out of my background paper and then back mount it with the My Mind's Eye Simple Stories paper. Sorry, I'm all over the place today. So you can see I've drawn my 8.5-inch circle using the base of my camera phone stand, and now I'm cutting out with my scalpel. Next, I'm distressing the edges with my Tim Holtz edge distresser, and then I can work on back mounting it in a minute. So this photo that I'm scrapping today is Amelia and James, just under 2, in April 2009, and Amelia's climbed onto the change table and James is inspecting in her mouth. I have no idea why. They were such characters at that age, but he's got his hand in her mouth almost like he's inspecting her teeth and checking that they're all there. So I'm just drawing around onto the paper that I'm going to use to back mount this, and then as you can see, I start cutting it out and then realise that I'm not supposed to be cutting around the circle. I'm supposed to be cutting outside the circle. So I'll just have to glue that back together again, that little slit there. So I just use some double-sided tape to stick that back together so that I've got enough paper to glue this onto the white paper when I'm done. So this is my collection of Shimmers paints, and I'm pulling out this pink one. I think it's Pinko de Mayo. And I'm just activating it as Inklings. So I'm just activating it with some water and then adding this around the edge of the circle. I just want it to give almost like a shadow inside the circle that I've cut on the white cardstock. So I'm just adding some paint, and then I'll add some splatters to it as well. Just adding a bit more water to water that down so I can get the splatters down. And just keep going around, building up those splatters, and then I come in with a smaller brush to get the smaller splatters around as well. Just making sure that everything's well covered and leaving that to one side, and then I'm going to do the same on the white cardstock. So first of all, going around the edge with the pink, and then once I've got the line of pink around the edge, I'm actually going to use my water spray to add some water right the way around, so that I can blend that paint out. I didn't want a harsh line, so just adding the paint to the water, and that just bleeds out nicely, creating a soft edge. And just merging those spritzes of water into one ring, going around the edge. And then once that's done, I shall add some more splatters. Just checking that the pigment is all the way around the circle. And then once that's done, I'm going to come in with the splatters, as I say, adding those all over that paint that I've added previously, including through the middle of the circle. And there they are, going around the outside now. Just moving the photo out of the way so I don't cover that in paint too. Almost there. Just making sure that everything's well covered. And then once that's done, I'm coming in with this one in Sunflower. I think this is a Shimmers. And just to add some yellowy gold to the areas as well, because I should be using some of those colours from the pattern papers. So just a few splatters around the edge mainly. So now that's done, I'm going to work on matting my photo. So first of all, adding it to some scrap white card, and I shall trim around that and then use my Tim Holtz edge distresser to distress all the edges, just to give a softer look really. So just doing each one of the sides. While I'm doing this, please don't forget to check the description box down below to see everybody else playing along with this lovely hop. There's a playlist that Christie's organised for us all to add our videos to, and you can see everybody's videos, new videos being added every day. so do check that out. So now I'm choosing one of the cut apart papers to use as the second mat on my photo. I love this yellow. I also love the saying that's in the middle, so I'm cutting that out to save for another day. Just roughly cutting it out because I shall cut that into strips when I use it probably. And then matting the photo on. You won't know that it's not there, so it seemed a shame to waste it really. And as you can see, the 4x6 is quite a bit wider than the photo. I've trimmed the edges of the photo down. So just cutting the surplus off, and I shall use that piece later. You know me, don't like to waste anything. Distressing the edges again with my edge distresser. You will have seen me rubbing the back of the photo there. That's because I'd managed to put glue all over the photo without thinking that I'd cut a big hole out the middle of the paper. So just rubbing the surplus glue out of the way so that it doesn't get stuck to anything while I'm moving it around. So now that's the photo organised, I'm going to start looking at how I'm going to embellish it. So just going through the beautiful sticker book and seeing what I can use from this. And I see a label, and you can see in the sketch at the right hand side of the photo there is like a label piece. So I'm just going to add that. I'm actually going to add it to some cardstock just to make it a bit stiffer. These stickers are beautiful in the My Mind's Eye sticker books and beautifully paper thin, but sometimes I want things a little bit more sturdy. So this is a trick I learned from Rebecca Moore when I was watching one of her videos, to just match your stickers onto cardstock to make them a bit stiffer. So using one of the JD 3D print wood titles in the word love, and also some of his mini chevrons underneath that, I'm just playing about with placement at this stage. Going back through the sticker book to see if there's a circle that I can use with one of my naked epoxy flare, and I find one straight away. So sticking that onto card, because these are a little bit too small for the 1-inch punch, and then here's the epoxy flare that I'll add to that. I love these, they just add a little bit of something different to your page without being two-dimensional. So just burnishing that on and then looking to see what else I can find. And it's here that I see this lovely word phrase that says, "You make me smile every single day," and they really do, and they continue to do that. So again, sticking that onto cardstock just to make it a little bit more sturdy while I decide exactly what I'm going to do with it. So trimming off all the edges, and I think that's where it's going to go. So now working on this cluster at the bottom left-hand corner, there's that piece of paper that I trimmed off the photo mat, so just creating that into a fishtail banner to pop at the bottom there. And on the 12x12 sticker sheet, there's this sticker cluster, which works really nicely on top of that, and that just completes that bottom left-hand cluster very nicely. So just using my nails to rough up the edges slightly of that banner. And that's how I'm going to leave that. Adding some glue, and that's that sorted. So now moving everything off so that I can actually glue this paper down because it isn't stuck down yet. And now bringing the photo back in to start building everything up. So this is the Heidi Swap sticker book that I've got in Old Stash, and I just wanted to have a look through because I know some of these colours match nicely with the Simple Stories Wildflower. And sure enough, I find another label sticker that I can layer up with that first pink one. So bringing the other bits back in again, the wood veneer and that epoxy flare. And I've got another flare badge there from Hayley the Magpie, and it just says "so funny" because it did make me giggle, this photo. So mounting my photo onto these Sticks to 25mm foam pads, and then that can be stuck down. The paper's quite warped, so it's nice to add it onto foam pads, and also to give definition to that photo. So now I'm going to go in and stick down these labels. Of course, the Heidi Swap one's already stuck down, but just gluing that other pink one down, and then the epoxy flare, and then the Hayley the Magpie flare, still deciding exactly where to put that. So glue down the title, and then this word strip I'm actually going to mount onto foam as well. So just using my 6mm foam roll from Sticks 2 again. Great British company. And sticking that down underneath the photo. So just bringing a little button in. This is a button that I cut off a dress that I'd worn through. So I always keep things like that so I can add them to my pages. It's a little tortoiseshell button. So just adding some wax twine to that, and then I shall glue that down onto the page. So just using the wet glue to stick that down. And then I can add that flare as well. And that's already on a foam pad, so that's just getting stuck down on the foam pad. And then I wanted to bring in some white lace because it's a delicate collection. I think the white lace really suits it. So I pulled out 2 pieces of wax twine, one in a pale grey and one in pink. And I'm just threading that through the holes along the top of the lace. I won't bore you watching that because it takes a little while. And then I can just ruche it up slightly and stick it down to the layout. So first of all, sticking it to the back of the layout. I'll flip it over in a second. And just adhering that down so that I haven't got any straggly ends on the front. And then this piece I will stick down with double-sided tape, going straight across underneath that wax twine there, so the bottom still hangs free. And just making sure that it's fairly evenly ruched as I stick it down, and also straight. So just moving it along. And I really like how that looks on the page. And there is some rickrack in the sketch, you can see there in the top right hand corner. So this sort of replaces that rickrack that she's got on the sketch there. So just bringing in a little pink tassel and also a silver star charm, just to add something to that. And then tying a knot just to keep them in place. And I shall leave the ends to hang free for now, but I will adhere them down at a later stage. So just trimming off the excess there. Now working back on this little cluster on the bottom right hand corner, I've got these 3 mini chevrons, wood chevrons from JD 3D Print. So just getting those stuck down. And then I want to look through the foam stickers to see if there's anything on here that I can add. So first of all, I do see a little heart, which I think will look really nice in the bottom left-hand corner. And I love that these are on a clear sheet, so you can have a look to see how things look on the layout before committing. So there's that heart, and then I'm working on the top cluster here. So back to the sticker book, and I find a little banner that goes down, but then I see a tab, and I think, oh yes, that would look nice at the top of the picture, so add that. And then this little stamp piece just to build up that cluster in the top right hand corner. And then I spot the little hello circle that's in the Heidi Swap book, so I add that to the right. I'm not too keen on the butterfly on that stamp, so I do cover that up in a second. I see the, first of all, trimming off the tops, and I see the little foam flowers on the foam sticker sheet, so I'll just add those on top of that butterfly to cover that up. And then a little heart in grey. It looks cute. So now I just want to layer up another tag where that tag is at the top. Tab, sorry. I always get my tabs and tags muddled up. So just gluing that down. And I will add the date, just handwritten later on, just April 2009 at the top there. So coming in with my journaling. And it just says, just an average day in the life, Amelia using the change table as a climbing frame, Jane's inspecting her teeth. So now I'm coming in with some little grey pearls that I've got, flat back pearls. So I've added one to those twines coming off the lace, just as an anchor to hold those in place. And now I'm just dotting a few around the page, just as little sparkly bits, really. to add to the layout. Almost there now. Just dotting a few and gluing them down as I go. And here I am now writing that date. And the last thing I'm going to do here is add some more of that wax twine wrapped around that So Flunny Flare badge, and that's it. So tomorrow I'll be back with a slightly different video. I'm going to do a craft room tour, so I really hope you enjoy that. I won't be doing day 25 of 30 days of sketches, but I'll be back on day 26 doing day 26. So I've hoped you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me, and I shall see you tomorrow. Bye.